From Romans chapter 8, verses 18 to 27. I consider the sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing the glory about to be revealed to us. For the creation waits with eager longing for the revealing of the children of God. For the creation was subjected to futility, not of its own will, but the will of the one who subjected it, in hope that the creation itself will be set free from its bondage to decay and will obtain the freedom of the glory of the children of God. We know that the whole creation has been groaning in labor pains until now. And not only the creation, but we ourselves, who have the first fruits of the spirits, groan inwardly while we wait for adoption, the redemption of our bodies. For in hope we are saved. Now hope that is seen is not hope. For who hopes for what is seen? But if we hope for what we do not see, we wait for it with patience. Likewise, the Spirit helps us in our weakness, for we do not know how to pray as we ought. But that very Spirit intercedes with sighs too deep for words, and God, who searches the heart, knows what is the mind of the Spirit, because the Spirit intercedes for the saints according to the will of God. Let us pray. May your Spirit, O God, be with your servant and with your people as we discern your word for our time and our place. Amen. Good morning. It is a privilege to worship with you this morning and to wrestle with you about what it means to be a church for our times. I am sure you have wrestled with this matter so many times. It is part of a faith community that always seeks to be faithful. It is crucial for a faith community that always seeks to renew itself. It is at the heart of a faith community that always strives to respond creatively to the current challenges. Every generation is tempted to think that theirs is the most challenging moments in history. What is of paramount importance, however, is not that some historical moments are more challenging than others, but that every generation must face squarely, creatively, and responsibly its own challenges. For the generations that are here now, I say that what is crucial is for us to embrace the reality that this is our time and our challenge. Our time, to use the enduring lines of Charles Dickens, can be the best of times and the worst of times. What is decisive, I believe, is how we respond to the challenges of our own time. The challenges we are facing are complex and global in scale, so we need to have tools of interpretation that are equal to the task. As someone said, if our only tool is a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. We need to develop critical eyes, because what we see and hear may often conceal reality. Mark Twain has a quip for us: if we do not read, we are uninformed. If we read, we are misinformed. Dearth of news and information is not the issue. Our biggest challenge is to sort out the profound from the trivial, or the sublime from the ridiculous, which are, of course, shaped by our own values and priorities in life. And failure to discriminate effectively the plethora of news leads into preoccupation with what George Steiner calls pornography of insignificance, and the risk of descent into vast triviality. Moreover, the news and information that we are bombarded continue to support the perspective of those who are at the top. When 2/3 of today's newspapers are monopolies, what can we expect? An independent press, the third pillar of U.S. democracy, is under threat from media oligopoly. In its present form, this media growth, says Bill Myers, has one obvious consequence. There is more information and easier access to it, but it is more narrow in content and perspective, so that what we see from the couch is overwhelmingly a view from the top. If we rely on CNN and, of course, Fox News, what do we expect? But do we know Link TV? Do we know Democracy Now? Do we know Al Jazeera? Other alternatives? A lot of people still don't know those media outlets. The challenge that I would like us to test our critical perspective is the issue of ecology and its relation to economy, or more accurately, political economy. Our lectionary reading designates this Sunday as Wilderness Outback Sunday. Following the lectionary, I chose Romans 8:18-27 as our text, and entitled my meditation, Groaning in Pain, Groaning in Hope. Regardless of political persuasion, there is a widely shared feeling in our society and the whole of creation here. To use the words of our text, is groaning in travail. And travail here. Travail suggests that people and the whole of creation are in distress and in pain. The whole inhabited world, I mean both people and creation, is suffering from a sickness that demands more than technical or palliative fixed. Wilderness Sunday brings back memories of my hometown in the Philippines. My hometown was rich in flora and fauna of various species, of various kinds. But in recent years, it has suffered major ecological catastrophes. 2 major landslides hit the area. One landslide wiped out the whole village and buried its children. And the common default explanation for such disasters by insurance companies and others is what? Acts of God, even if they don't believe in God sometimes. But are they? Are they acts of God? Maybe. Without a doubt, the common people of my hometown have contributed to the ecological destruction by the way they live. But what is their share compared to the global market's mess? The mess of the global market has reached to the bottom of the Philippine Deep. Below the Pacific Ocean surface is a mountain of market trash, the market mess. Liberalized trade conditions have increased the volume of trade, thus accelerating the depletion of the ecosystem. Around the world, forests are being cleared for timber, agriculture, and grazing. Rivers and lakes and oceans have become dump sites for booming industries. These are happening in the name of development and progress. But development for what? and progress for whom? Evangelists of neoliberal economics have made people believe that it will lift all boats. Quite the contrary, instead of lifting all boats, it's lifting all yachts. And worse, the poor do not even have boats, and they are drowning in the tsunami of corporate profits. Worse still, the money that could be used to save people's lives is used to bail out corporations that have amassed huge profits. In the U.S. and around the world, people are dying before their time. John Bertrand Aristide has a story of this sickly body politic that is making people die globally and in his homeland, Haiti. He tells of a morgue worker who was preparing to dispose a dozen corpses. To the morgue worker's surprise, one body lifted himself off the table, shook his head, and declared, "I'm not dead." But the morgue worker responded, "Yes, you are. The doctors say you are dead, so lie down." And that's what the global market is telling us. Given the opportunity, a great number of the world's poor have found their way into the heartland of the United States of America. Not only in urban areas, but even in rural areas like southwestern Minnesota. Many of them are refugees from civil wars and from wars that the United States has been involved in, directly or indirectly. They carry with them their suitcases full of dreams and, of course, subversive desires. A dream of a new and better tomorrow. A tomorrow of radical hospitality. They do what is called 3D jobs. Dirty, demanding, and dangerous, and they are poorly paid so we can afford the things we want. Yet they are also perceived as threats to us. Whenever or wherever threats to one's security are perceived, walls rise. Walls of fear and division are rising. We are seeing walls rising, physical walls, legal walls, etc. And all these efforts at walling and securing are manifestations of a deeper walling that is going on in people's lives. Deep inside people's heart are constricting and moral imagination shrinking. The promised progress of the evangelist of neoliberal economics has been destructive to the ecosystem and its people. Yet for so long we have accepted the narrative of the neoliberal economic experts as if it were gospel. What is disheartening is that this view continues to deceive many, including the disenfranchised. And this may explain why many of the world's poor end up voting against their interest. Often, says Karen Bloomquist, the disenfranchised adopt the upwardly mobile values and religious orientation of those who are above them because of their tenacious belief that in the end their dream will save them. They want to be like them. Why do you have to change the system? There have been conversations and actions toward becoming earthwise congregations. But most often, they do not disturb the economic myth in which we have been living all these years. Similar is going on in many stewardship programs in churches. Most often, stewardship programs are not critical of our political economy, thereby presupposing that we can be faithful stewards while accepting our predatory global market. Part of the reason why we often shy away from engagement with economics is the common understanding that it is only for the experts. I would say that economics is too important to be left to the economic experts. Economics, understood in a simple yet not simplistic way, is fundamentally about table manners in the global household. Hence, it is within our domain as Christians. Moreover, exercising our economic responsibility is central to our calling. The God we know in Jesus is an economist in the most profound sense of oikonomia. God, the economist, builds the household on the foundation of right relation. And God manages the household in ways that are just. And we have been called to join God, the economist, in distributing righteousness so that the world may flourish. Herman Daly and theologian John Cobb offer an alternative way of understanding economics. 3 important guidelines. 1, it takes seriously the long-term interest rather than just the short-term gains. 1. Second, business transactions take into consideration the cost and benefits to the whole community, not only the benefits of the transacting parties. Okay? And third, instead of prioritizing abstract value and its stimulus for unlimited accumulation, it focuses on concrete value and its relation to specific needs that can find objective satisfaction. Abstract value, like an image value, there is no satisfaction. There is no satisfaction. If I may add what is not explicit, economic interest must take the health of the ecosystem. It is out of this vision of an alternative tomorrow, the reign of Shalom, in which the church must exercise its ministry. And it is out of this dream of a new tomorrow that congregations must exercise their prophetic exorcism and prophetic naming. We need congregations that name our social malady. This is crucial because the courage to name our pains, without the courage to name our pains, we are also without words to articulate our deepest joys and soaring hopes. Churches must raise their voices from the rooftops. Silence may protect us momentarily, but not forever. Silence, to paraphrase Jose Camblin, is a lie when truth needs to be spoken. We need courageous faith communities. When walls are rising and hearts constricting and moral imagination shrinking, we need churches that embody the ministry of wall busting and bridge building. We need churches that embody hearts and imagination as large as the world. When many speak of the class of civilization, we need churches that offer counter-narrative, dialogue of civilizations. We need faithful communities that do not allow the worst in others, such as the so-called extremists, to define our actions or their actions. On the contrary, we need faith communities that respond according to the best of themselves in light of the radical hospitality of Jesus, the crucified one. These faithful communities hold to the belief that, following Jane Addams, the good we secure for ourselves is precarious and uncertain unless it is secured for all of us and incorporated into our common life. When the world says that there is no alternative, we need faith communities that affirm that there are alternatives and that another world is possible. Charity is commendable, but it is not enough. Faith-based charity, in the words of Bill Moyers, provide crumbs from the table. Faith-based justice offers a place at the table. When cynicism becomes pervasive, we need faith communities that embody the message of hope. The word cynic comes from the Greek word kun, K-U-O-N, dog. So a cynic is a person who barks in public and urinates on the leg of a table. There are certainly thousands of reasons to pee and poop everywhere, particularly in the halls of power. But cynicism is not our vehicle for birthing the new tomorrow. This globalized cynicism and despair is expressed in the following lines. If everything is connected, then you can't change anything without changing everything. But you can change everything, so that means that you can't change anything. Right? There is, however, I would say, hopeful reading of these globalized interconnections. Because we are spread rhizomatically everywhere, we have more and varied entry points to transform the global system and make a global difference. The forces of reaction are legion, and the challenge is enormous. It is easy to be discouraged and be daunted. We must become interfaith and ecumenically minded community that conspires with civil society, because it is not only politically necessary, but it is spiritually crucial. If we are a drop of water, says Thich Nhat Hanh, and we try to get to the ocean as only an individual drop, we will surely evaporate along the way. To arrive at the ocean, we must go as a river. The community is our river. Let us remember, we are not called to do everything, but we are called to do something, to sew our piece into the larger quilt. May your faith community continue to embody the witness of the crucified one with creativity, passion, and hope. Thank you.